Hi, we're here today with another demo for Easy Business Case Financial Calculator. What we're going to be demoing today is an initial investment that is meant to either generate additional revenue for your company or reduce expenses on an ongoing basis. Maybe you invest in a piece of equipment that is expected to lower your cost per unit, or maybe lower your staffing needs in the future. The specific thing we're going to demo is a CRM tool, a client relationship management tool. And this is meant to give our sales force the power to manage their sales from initial lead all the way to the client management at the end once the sale has been completed. Now, we're expecting an initial investment, and then we're expecting twofold. We're expecting an increase in revenue because the sales force is better able to manage their relationships. But then we're also expecting a reduced costs because we currently have an administrative staff doing this manually. So let's jump right in. I'm going to close this intro screen and we're going to hit the little app button there. And the app is starting up. And here we are at the main menu screen. First, it's really easy. You just create a new business case, and I'm going to call this one CRM tool, and I am going to hit create, and then I'm going to get to this initial screen here that we haven't done anything yet, so there's no reports, there's nothing to save. There's this nice little walk me through it button that I'm going to use. That's basically going to give me a walkthrough of all the assumptions I need to set in a nice, easy question and answer manner. If you're more advanced or you've already set up something and you just want to change a little something, you can use these templates down below. There's 4 templates, one for revenue, expense, loan, and some miscellaneous tax and investment income assumptions. But the walk me through it will do it all for you. So let's start with that. Now it's going to ask you how long you want the model for. So if you've got an indefinite business case, you can put 99 years. I'd probably advise against that because the model takes a long time to run, and it's not, when you're looking on a discounted value or an IRR basis, you're probably not carrying more than 20 years out into the future. So for this, I'm just going to put 5 years, and I'll hit next. The next screen asks you whether you want to track things on a revenue or a units price per unit basis. Since this is a CRM tool, and basically what I'm looking to is to generate more revenue from my sales team and lower expenses, and my expenses are going to be lower by staff costs, not necessarily anything that's on a per unit basis. I'm going to pick revenue here and then hit next. Now it's going to ask me, I can put in revenue assumptions for up to 5 years on a item by item basis. This is to allow you to be more refined in the assumptions that you put in for the 5-year strategic plan that comes out as a result. But I don't need to be that refined. I'm going to put in 1 year that I'm going to enter in. So I hit that. It's going to pop up a box, and since I only put 1 year of revenue, that's what it's going to ask me for. And I'm going to say that I have about 500,000 of revenue now. I think this is going to generate an additional 10% of revenue. And so I'm going to put an initial revenue increase of $50,000 for having this new CRM tool. Hit next. Now this is going to ask me for the growth rate on my revenue. I've been having a growth rate of about 10% per year. And I would expect that this additional amount would also grow by 10% per year, just like my underlying revenue. Now you have to enter things that are a percent as a decimal. So I'm going to enter 0.1 for 10% and hit next. Okay, now this is my asking for my upfront expenses. So this is going to be the upfront cost of my CRM tool. So now I'm going to have to invest $250,000. And this is not only the upfront fee of the tool itself that I'm leasing it from or licensing it. It's also the cost of installation and a consultant to help me come in and not just install the tool, but also train my sales staff on how to use it. So I'm going to hit next. And now it'll ask me if any of this upfront expense is going to be deferred for tax purposes. I'm going to put yes. And then it's going to ask me what percent of it. And I'm just going to put 100%. Again, you have to enter things as a decimal, so 100% is 1. And then it's going to ask me the number of years that I'm allowed to defer. In this case, I'm just going to put 3 years. Okay, now here it's asking me about fixed expenses. So this is not the fixed expense for the company, this is the fixed expense for this business case. And I have 2 things that are happening here. So I'm going to have a $25,000 annual fee, that a licensing fee for the actual CRM tool after the ongoing upfront cost. And I do think I'm going to have savings of basically 1 staff, which is the person that's doing all this manually right now. And that's going to save me $50,000 all in when I count salary and benefits. So it also asks me how long do I want to enter, just like revenue, where I could enter it from 1 to 5 years. Here, because I might not have any expenses, it allows me to do 0 to 1 year, 0 to 5 years. So I'm going to do 1 year again, and I'm going to hit next, and then it's going to ask me for the amount. So I said that I'm going to save $50,000, but it's actually going to cost me $25,000 in licensing fees. So I actually have negative $25,000 net expenses. So the next thing it's going to ask me is there an inflation factor in subsequent years after the first? And I'm going to say yes, there is, and I'm going to put that as 3%. Okay, now it's going to ask me different types of expenses. So this is asking about expense as a percent of revenue generated. And I'm going to say 0. And then the next question is about, will the expenses be tax deductible, and at what percentage? I'm going to say 100%. I'll just leave that as is. Will there be a loan? No, I'm not going to have a loan at this point in time. What's the expected income tax rate? And 25% is fine. Will losses be carried forward? Now, this is important for tax purposes. So if you're basically, this is saying whether I can have negative tax payments or not. In this case, usually you can't have that. Usually your tax authority is not going to pay you money if you lose money. They just allow you to carry forward that loss against future income. But in this case, this is a business case for something I'm adding to an existing business. And I have other income that this is going to help me offset. So I'm going to say no, I don't have to carry the NOLs forward. Okay, now this is asking if there's any cash required to be held, like a cash reserve. So if I have to keep $10,000 in the bank for some reason to make minimum payments on a loan or anything else, this would be where I would put it. But I'm going to say no at this point, just leave it at 0. My investment income rate, I'm just going to say about 1%. Now the hurdle rate, this is really the return that you would make the no-go decision on. So I'm going to leave it at 15%. This means if there's the rate of return on this is greater than 15%, I will want to do this, and if it's lower, then I won't. Now that's it. That's all the assumptions I have to enter for this, and I'm going to hit reports now, and it's going to calculate for a little bit, and here we go. Here are the reports, and it's showing that I have an initial required investment of $243,000, 21% return. Because this 21% is higher than my 15% hurdle rate, there's a positive net present value. There's a payback period of 3.1 years. Obviously, I put a 10% growth rate on revenue, and I just entered revenue. I didn't enter any units, so I got 0% growth on unit. I can go and I can see a nice 5-year plan of what's happening, and there's my revenue increasing at 10%. Here's my initial expense, and then my savings on a going forward basis. Here's the taxes, and then my income, which is negative and then offset by positives, and then my dividends out. There's a nice chart that shows this, and it's really nice to put in your business case. And then there's the expense detail, and this just breaks out the different types of expenses there are. You can see the one time and the fixed, and then we didn't put any per unit or percent of revenue expenses. Now, there's also the send via email, which basically puts all these numbers in a business case template, and then you can email it to you in the form of a Word document. I'll go into that a little bit later. Right now, I want to come out and I want to hit save. It has CRM tool already in there, so I'm just going to hit save. It says okay. I am going to go back. Now, what I want to discuss now is funding, because what if I don't have $243,000? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back in here and hit that same case and put load case. And right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a loan. And I don't need all of it, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to borrow $200,000. And interest rate of 10% sounds about right. And, I'm going to keep the loan term the same as my business case term. So 60, got number of payments, 60. I'm going to pay this monthly. You could also adjust this to be quarterly payments or annual payments, however you want to structure your loan. It calculates a payment. Let me hit return, and you'll see I get a payment of $4,249 there. Neat feature if you just want to come in and find out what a payment for a loan for any purpose is. You don't have to actually create a whole business case. You can just come straight to the loan screen. Now I go back. You notice this is what I was talking about earlier. The first time I set this up, I went through the walk me through it. Since I'm just changing a little something here, I don't need to go through that whole thing again. All I can do is come in here and adjust the different assumptions one at a time through these templates. It makes it a lot easier. Now I'm going to hit reports, and here I go. Now look, my required initial investment has dropped to $47,000. This is because I've taken out a $200,000 loan. My IRR has skyrocketed from 20 to 80%. This is the leveraging effect of using somebody else's money instead of my own. Of course, if we get to the 5-year plan, actually let's go there right now, you'll see that you now have loan interest, so the money we're making at the income line is less because there's a cost of that money that I borrowed. I come back here, my payback period on my investment is now a lot lower, from 3 years down to a year and a half. This is because I'm using somebody else's money and I'm paying back that money over 5 years. So it's really easy to change things. I mean, I could go in and say, what if my savings was this? What if my new revenue was, 5% instead of 10% or 15% instead of 10%? Really easy to change things. And what's also powerful is I can kind of a save as. I saved the first one as CRM tool. Now I can come in and do maybe CRM tool with loan and save that. Okay, hit OK. Now I can return, and there I have CRM tool and CRM tool with loan. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to demonstrate one more thing. I'm going to come in here, reload that business case, go to reports. Okay, if you hit this send via email, let me just hit that there. Okay, you get a nice little email with the Word document. Now, what does that Word document have? You get CRM tool with loan, business case. Of course, I didn't capitalize anything or make it nice. You can do it when you're doing the app, or you can just fix it in the Word document. It has a space for an executive summary. It has the outline. And then as you get to the financial schedules, you see it has the same screens you saw, the 5-year business plan, all your metrics, it has the graph, it has the expense breakdown, and then when you come down here to the appendix, it actually details all the financial assumptions that you had here, and of course there's other things. Because this is a full business case template, of course you'll have to fill in the other things. The app is only doing the financial part of it for you. So I hope this demo has helped you, and have fun and good luck with whatever business case you're doing. Thank you.